Manyavar presents CNBC TV 18's Indian Business Icons, Leaders, Trailblazers, Radicals.
Hello and welcome to the India Business Icons, a CNBC TV 18 initiative to acknowledge the monumental impact our business leaders, trailblazers and radicals have had on the economy and how they've redefined the contours of leadership in the Indian context. CNBC TV 18's editorial team shortlisted 30 business leaders for their contribution to the economy, for creating new markets, for generating wealth and value. This list was then thrown open to you, our viewers, and the public to vote on and decide the top 15 India business icons. Over 2 million votes were polled, and over the next few weeks we'll take you through the stories of the top 15 icons selected by you, the Indian public. There are so many who dream big dreams and let their dreams fade to die forgotten deaths. But then there are a few who nurture their dreams, give them wings and turn them into reality. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw set up Biocon when she was all of 25, and under her stewardship, Biocon has evolved from being an industrial enzyme company to a fully integrated, innovation-led biopharmaceutical enterprise committed to reducing therapy costs of chronic diseases like diabetes and cancer. Born and brought up in Bangalore by a homemaker mother and a brewmaster father, Kiran grew up confident in the knowledge that she was no different from her brothers. Her early brush with industry might have dampened her spirit, but not her resolve to make something of herself.
I look back at my childhood. I was certainly a very committed child in terms of my studies. I was very diligent as a child. My father basically, was responsible for giving me a sense of confidence, making me feel that there is no such thing as a gender bias in society, and aspire for, doing something important in life. I went to Australia to pursue my, academic career in brewing, obviously with the end goal of pursuing a professional career in brewing. I was the only woman in my class. I realized it was a male bastion, but that didn't deter me, and full of self-confidence was what I felt when I returned to India, and I was so sure that I would be very well received and very well accepted by the brewing fraternity in India, but that was not to be, and that whilst I was technically very competent and probably managerially had the potential of being competent, they just felt that they wouldn't like to risk management in my hands. And I felt it just had to do with my gender, because when I compared myself to my male counterparts in the brewing industry in India, I felt I was head and shoulders above them.
Despondent and hurt by rejections in her homeland, Kiran decided to take up a brewmaster job in the UK. But an accidental encounter with an Irish entrepreneur, Leslie Auchincloss, also a former brewer, changed the course of her life. Auchincloss's Biocon Biochemicals was looking to enter India. But in the late 1970s, foreign ownership was limited to 30% only. So he asked Kiran to partner him in setting up Biocon India. Though skeptical, 25-year-old Kiran took the plunge, breaking many a glass ceiling along the way.
When I set up Biocon, of course, it was on a spirit of challenge and a sense of purpose, and that keeps you very, very focused and very engaged. So the first phase was about credibility challenges. How credible was I as a woman entrepreneur? How credible was I as a young person trying to set up a company? In those days, nobody started a company at 25 years of age. Then there was this whole credibility challenge of, getting people to work for a woman boss, getting banks to basically feel secure that a woman entrepreneur is a safe investment. Then came the third set of challenges, which was when we transformed our business from enzymes to biopharmaceuticals, and that came with its own regulatory challenges.
From enzymes manufacturing to a fully integrated biopharmaceutical company, Biocon has come a long way. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw takes pride in the fact that her company was the first Indian one to manufacture and export enzymes to the US and Europe. Developing and scaling up the first proprietary, homegrown enzyme technology, launching a new generation of bioinsulin, Insugen, being the first Indian company to be approved by the US FDA for the manufacture of lovastatin, a cholesterol-lowering molecule, are just some of Biocon's achievements. A listed company since 2004, it's only the second Indian company to have crossed the billion-dollar mark on the day of its listing.
See, my business mantra has really been about differentiation and innovation. I've always believed that if you want to stand apart and be recognized, you have to do things differently and you have to look very different. So differentiation has been a very strong part of my business strategy. And then I've really bet very big on innovation. I really think innovation also further enhances differentiation.
From the time that she embarked on her professional journey, Kiran has always faced the wall of gender bias, but she hasn't let it block her path to success. Today, she does her bit to actively encourage and empower women scientists. In fact, 40% of Biocon scientists are women.
It is much easier for women to pursue professional careers and set up businesses. I remember when I was setting up my business, there was a category under sort of a loan finance scheme by the Karnataka State Financial Corporation that said, scheduled caste, disabled and women entrepreneurs. That was the kind of category we were put in. I mean, fortunately, there's no such category for women entrepreneurs today. We are considered to be a very important, segment of business and investment, and investment in terms of access of capital for women entrepreneurs is much, much easier than when it was in my times.
Behind every successful man is a woman, but behind this successful woman is her husband, John Shaw. He gave up his career and country to help her brew the Biocon empire.
I first met my husband John when he had just come to India. He took over as chairman and managing director of Madura Coats, and the headquarters of Madura Coats were in Bangalore. So I first met him at a social gathering where we just got talking, and then of course we found that we had a few interests, and such as art, such as golf, and both of us were single, so we decided to spend time with each other. So over time, I mean, it was almost 7 years of dating and courting before we decided to get married. It all, when we got married, it almost coincided with an opportunity for Biocon to buy back our shares from Unilever and become totally independent. Now, I had no money to kind of buy back those shares, but John had some property in the UK which he sold and then bought those shares. So he always says that, that was true love, and he felt that that was the best investment he made,
Her pioneering efforts in biotechnology have drawn global recognition. She's not only one of the richest and most successful women in the world, but she's also featured on the Forbes list of leading philanthropists in the world for her contribution to affordable healthcare. A Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan awardee, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw also engages herself with various civic initiatives that focus on better governance.
Our whole ethos is about providing affordable access to patients who need these very important life-saving, life-enhancing drugs. I always say that to me, a blockbuster drug is not about $1 billion, but it's about 1 billion patients. And I really believe in that, because I think the model that we pursue in countries like India is about high volume and low value, which is in sharp contrast to what the West really looks at as an optimal business model, which is really high value, low volume, because they cater to a very small segment of patients. We have to cater to a much larger segment of patients, and healthcare and pharmaceuticals in particular is a very humanitarian business. So I am an entrepreneur who is very humanitarian in the way I go about my business.
A businesswoman with a heart who stands tall and distinguished. It is time for us to take a break on the India Business Icons, but when we return, KV Kamat's story in his own words.
The challenges that the bank have faced are my own lows. The successes are your highs.
Manyavar presents CNBC TV 18's Indian Business Icons, leaders, trailblazers, radicals.